Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Friday, February 7th, 2025. I've spent the last several days down in Wilmington, North Carolina, at some meetings on coastal resilience and how we can improve partnerships and communication. Well, this is Super Bowl Sunday coming up, and that's why I'm focused right now on the New Orleans area, southern Louisiana. This update is for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment where we share information across platforms from private sector liaisons at state emergency operations centers to the private sector organizations in the food, fuel, communications, water sectors, and many more. And so what we're looking at here is the GOES satellite image. It is in its 1 minute mode. It's called the rapid update mode or the mesoscale sector. And the reason why it's focused on Louisiana right now is not only because of the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, but because we're watching a couple of wildfires that are burning just west and southwest of Lake Pontchartrain. This is Lake Pontchartrain here. I'll make it bigger for you so you can see what's going on. This is Lake Pontchartrain here. And you can see there's a slight southerly wind. See the clouds moving this way? They're moving to the northeast. That means the winds are moving from southwest to northeast there. And we have some fires that are burning in some of the reserve areas here. And that wouldn't be too bad, except we have a lot of low-level moisture that's here in southern Louisiana. And the concern is that during the day tomorrow, and tonight, there could be some very dense fog combining with smoke. Look at that. You can see some smoke over Lake Pontchartrain right here. That's smoke. You can zoom in on it just a little bit. And when that combines, when fog combines with smoke, you get a very dense fog. It's called a super fog event. This has happened in the past. You see this little peninsula right here? This is where Route 10 goes across Lake Pontchartrain, and also Route 11. Route 10 is an interstate that goes directly across here, and Route 11 is an interstate road, and it goes up around this way. There is the possibility that we could have dense fog and super fog forming along the southern shores of Lake Pontchartrain and along the southern parts of the bridges here during the night tonight and during tomorrow and tomorrow night. As a matter of fact, the National Weather Service has actually put out a little bit more information, and here's what it looks like. You can see where those fires are burning right there where the flames are, and it's actually some of the smoke is showing up on radar. When that happens and we have low-level moisture, that can mix in with that fog and create that super fog event. So we do have the probability of high-risk fog, and this is significant, extreme risk over Lake Pontchartrain tonight into this afternoon into tonight. And anywhere you see that purple, there's a extreme chance of fog and also a significant chance threat of fog developing, which could really lower visibility. And where it combines with that wildfire smoke, it can be very, very dangerous. Visibilities could go to zero without any notice, and it's a thicker air, so it's tougher to navigate through because of the visibility reductions there. So this is what it looks like from the standpoint of Friday into Friday night. Let's take a look from Saturday into Saturday night. Look at that. Not much change. A lot of people are heading down into New Orleans, southern Louisiana, and we have a serious risk of thick fog and perhaps super fog that could cause accidents on Route 10 and also Route 11. It's not called super fog because of the Super Bowl coming. We've had serious and deadly accidents across Lake Pontchartrain when wildfire smoke combines with fog. That is why we call it super fog. Well, let's go back here to the satellite picture, and I'm going to widen out from Louisiana here, and I'm going to go a little bit further out so you can see most of the United States here, and also there's Maine. Here comes the Terminator line with the sunset, but you can see clouds and some disturbed weather in the Midwest over Missouri and Arkansas, Oklahoma. Look at that little dry air clearing out some of those clouds there in Kansas. And you can see that overall southerly flow coming out of the Gulf there over towards southern Louisiana. That's what's feeding that moisture in and creating that fog chance. And here's the southern part of the jet stream. You can see that in these cirrus clouds here. That's creating quite a progressive weather pattern in around the United States right now. And that's going to lead to quite a few snow chances and disturbed weather chances over the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, let me go in and start showing you what it looks like from the standpoint of some of the models. I'm going to show that, and then I'm going to back out and show you the forecast, what it looks like for some of the high impact areas with regard to the weather and winter precipitation as well. So let's start here with the United States since we're looking at this. I'm going to widen out first and show you the GFS model, because what we're looking at here is the cold areas are purple. The warm areas in the atmosphere are the reds. And this is looking at about 850 millibars, what we call 850 hectopascals in meteorological language. It's really about 5 to maybe 7,000 feet up in the atmosphere, maybe a little bit lower at times. And so I just want to point out some things here. You can see it's fairly mild along the south right now. You can see that even over into Nova Scotia. Look at that warm air. Even down across Texas, some warm temperatures there in the Southern Rockies, even over parts of Colorado, at least at 7,000 feet, it's fairly warm. These are cold pockets. This is where the real cold air is. And look at this up towards the North Pole. It's warm, anomalously warm. These are temperature anomalies above or below average. So we're seeing above average temperatures. Doesn't mean it's above freezing. Just means it's above average at this time of year, at this altitude. And so watch when I put this into motion, we can follow where the cold air and warm air is going to be going over the next several days. So we get into Saturday here and into Sunday. And look at this, still kind of warm temperatures, even though we're going to have cold temperatures at the surface, relatively warm. And look at this big cold pool up here. I want to show you what that what that looks like. We get another cold push down here on Tuesday into Wednesday, and Maine is going to remain very cold. And then look at this. This is an Arctic front coming down behind another low pressure that's going to threaten the mid-Atlantic and Maine, Boston, with some more snow. But look at that cold air, how it sticks around in the middle part of Canada, but then the warm air comes back. And look at this. This is about next Saturday. So this is just a general kind of warm, cold, where's the air going to be? And then you can see another Arctic front coming right through here in the mid-Atlantic area. That is a week from Monday. So this is February 17th, a week from Monday. That's a push of cold air, but then it looks like it warms up slightly, and then another push of cold air there all the way out towards February 20th or 21st. Now, let's get a little bit detailed. I want to show you what impacts are going to happen in the northeast part of the country here. And I've put on a more high-resolution model in the northeast. This is called the NAM model. It's a 3-kilometer resolution model. It means it's very detailed. You'll see that when the precipitation starts up. And I want to put this into motion because I've been getting a lot of requests here as to when is precipitation going to start in the mid-Atlantic area during this weekend. And you can see on the model forecast here, we have some light snow that's forecast to break out in the Maryland, Northern Virginia area. This is sleet. And then this red area, pink area, is freezing rain. And then the green area is rain. So high pressure is over Delaware here. You can see that moving out. Some of this is around 15Z. So that's That's about 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. Z means Greenwich Mean Time. And that's how we measure time in the meteorological community. So 15Z is 12 o'clock during the day tomorrow. But then we see a little bit more snow breaking out around 2 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock there in the mid-Atlantic, and moving into southern Pennsylvania there. And then it looks like we have a little bit of a break, but perhaps then more sleet coming in during the day on Saturday. This area could cause quite a bit of slipperiness on the roads. There are winter weather advisories in effect throughout the mid-Atlantic. There's an ice storm warning in western Maryland here and on into southern Pennsylvania, south central Pennsylvania for an ice storm warning. That means perhaps a critical buildup of ice on the wires and trees. And then winter storm watches up in the Boston, Massachusetts area, winter storm warnings, northeast Pennsylvania. I'll show you all that on GeoCollaborate. And then you can look at this. The sleet continues all the way through Saturday into Saturday night, mixing with freezing rain. And then on into Sunday morning, things start to taper off and move out. So this is around midnight Saturday night. Things are ending in the Maryland area and will be ending in southern Pennsylvania. But look at all this snow. This is moderate to heavy snow throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts. Looks like a 5 to 7 inch snowfall is in store there in Connecticut, even extreme northern New Jersey and southeastern New York. Not quite New York City. There's winter weather advisory there, but still could see 2 to 4 inches of snow in parts of New York there, including New York City, but more to the north where this real cold air is going to remain in play. And then on up into Maine. As this continues on, I'll just move this further. You can see those bands. Look at these bands of heavy snow here are going to be hitting Portland, Maine, areas like Booth Bay, Maine, and in eastern Maine, where snow could total anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow coming through that area. So that's what it looks like for this weekend. Impacts to critical infrastructure. Let's take a look at GeoCollaborate because I want to show you what that looks like here. This is the entire United States, and you can see, let me get rid of that there. You can see the yellow areas are somewhat of an impact. I'll put on the legend here so you can see minor impacts, but use caution when driving. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast because we're talking about an ice storm warning in western Maryland and parts of south central Pennsylvania. This is going to do a number on the Pennsylvania Turnpike here, so there could be some very slippery conditions there over the next 24 hours. And then it moves on up into western Massachusetts. Look at that. Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern New York. This is more in the moderate impact range, so hazardous driving is expected in these areas. Here's some lake effect snow that continues to come off of Lake Ontario. That is going to produce locally hazardous driving conditions as well. And if we get a little bit closer, you can see that it even gets major, where travel is expected or anticipated to be avoided. That's going to be the recommendation from law enforcement and the National Weather Service. Avoid travel in this area of Boston during the day tomorrow night into Sunday because it looks like it could be quite treacherous. Doesn't look like right downtown Boston there, but not too far in the western and northern suburbs, including over to Worcester and all those places. So it looks like we're going to have a relatively, I'd say, moderate impact snow event here in the northeast part of the country, and that is because another weather system is moving through. We're going to have another one after that as well, but I do want to move out west where we're going to have some difficult driving conditions. That's not too abnormal in the mountains here of Wyoming and parts of Colorado. That's moderate impact, so hazardous driving. And also along the Sierra Nevada range here, things have calmed down from those many days earlier this week of that atmospheric river coming in. And boy, in Crater Lake, Oregon, some real record snowfall on the ground. 120, 125 inches of snow measured on the ground right now in Crater Lake, Oregon. But you can see up towards the Pacific Northwest, we'll have just some minor impacts as far as driving is concerned. So I'll take off the legend there because I do want to show you, go back to the weather forecast model here for the West Coast. For the West Coast, because remember, we had those wildfires. How can we forget those devastating wildfires all near the northwest part of Los Angeles, the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire up towards Pasadena, where it was very impactful. So Thousand Oaks, Oxnard up here. It looks like we have a chance coming up next week for an atmospheric river to impact more of Southern California. Now, I do want to show this to you on the model for the atmospheric river models because we do watch these very closely. And this, let me orient you here. This line going up the middle is right now. This is right now. This is in the past. So this is yesterday, day before that, day before that. So we can see when atmospheric rivers have moved through. Where in the map is this forecast for to the right? You see this blue dot right here that I have highlighted? It's bigger than the other dots. This is a blue dot in the burn scar area around Los Angeles. And it looks like the models are picking up on a potential atmospheric river in about 6 days. So not tomorrow, not Sunday or Monday. It looks like next Thursday, we could be dealing with an AR1. That means, usually it means just a nuisance type of rain. It works to help to replenish reservoirs. That's why we have reservoirs to capture rainfall so that water can be used for the millions and millions of people in Southern California. So atmospheric rivers are usually good. But in this area in Southern California, late next week, we could have an AR1, and that might be enough to create some mud flows and debris flows where we've had those terrible wildfires in Southern California. We'll be watching this over the next several days and into next week, and we'll update you as this gets closer. But just wanted to give the All Hazards Consortium, everyone, a heads up that we could have some potential impacts from an atmospheric river next Thursday, as indicated by these models. So let's go back here. I'm going to go back to GeoCollaborate because I want to zoom out and show you the whole country again. And because of that, I want to show you where the watches, warnings, and advisories are concerned, and where they have been issued by the National Weather Service. So I'm going to turn off this product, which is the Winter Storm Severity Index. This is critical. It's produced by the National Weather Service. They put model data in here and local forecast information in here to visualize in one map where there could be impacts. This is a very valuable product, has gotten lots of kudos from the All Hazards Consortium. So I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to turn on the watches, warnings, and advisories, particularly here in the Northeast. And remember, for the Winter Storm Severity Index, it highlighted up here in Montana, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, over to Wisconsin and Michigan, that there was going to be some impacts. This is a winter weather advisory. This is a winter storm warning in North Dakota because of snow falling and high winds. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a county or two that gets a blizzard warning just because of winds of 35 miles per hour. But they have to continue for 3 hours and keep visibilities below a half mile. And so that criteria may not be reached. But over here in the east, you can see what's going on. We have a lot going on, actually. This is the ice storm warning from Garrett County on up into western Pennsylvania, not including Pittsburgh. Here's Pittsburgh, but some of the lower elevations and valleys. It looks like the cold pocket of air is going to remain in this area to produce some very treacherous conditions. In West Virginia, we have a flood watch in effect. There's a flood watch in effect throughout West Virginia. That's what this green area is. I'm paging through this just to see if there's anything else. And then in higher elevations, excuse me, there's a flood watch and a winter weather advisory. So higher elevations here, along with Central Virginia and on up into Northern Virginia, there is a winter weather advisory in effect that cuts across into Maryland's eastern shore and into the northern counties of Delaware, into New Jersey. This is all because of a combination of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. So not a lot of accumulation in this area, but perhaps an inch, half inch to an inch of snow and sleet. Some areas could see a little bit more where the snow persists, maybe 2 inches, lucky ones 3. But then it's going to change over to sleet and freezing rain. That's what I showed you on that high resolution model. And then look, it's going to be cold enough air up here to the north in southeastern New York where winter storm warnings are in effect for about 4 to 8 inches of snow. That includes Connecticut. Look here into Connecticut. I'll zoom in here. So we're talking about Bridgeport, Waterbury in winter storm warnings, New Milford, over to Norwich, New London, winter storm warnings. And then to the northeast of that, now we're talking about Massachusetts, Cape Cod. These are winter storm watches because it looks like the storm is going to be there more on Sunday. And then on up into Maine, this is how it looks. I'll back out a little bit. Here's Maine right here. Winter storm watch just for Sanford and that county there in southeastern Maine. But we will see some snow falling up towards Augusta and up towards Brunswick and also towards some of the beautiful peninsulas there, Booth Bay and places like that. So there will be impactful weather coming this weekend and into early next week throughout Maine. Then that's going to clear out and we'll have another round of winter weather starting around Monday night into Tuesday. I'll update that probably on Sunday as I do another update. Now I'm going to turn off the watches, warnings, and advisories, and I want to turn on another probability forecast here that's going to be interesting to see. This is the probability of 4 inches or more of snow over the next 24 hours. So 4 inches or more of snow in this area throughout central Wisconsin and Minnesota. This area has a high likelihood of getting 4 inches of snow or more. Less likelihood, but it still exists in the green and the blue areas. Now, as this system moves to the east, this is also lake effect snow. So there's a higher probability of getting 4 inches or more off the lake effect in Lake Ontario here. I'm going to turn on another layer for Saturday into Sunday, which is day 2, likelihood of 4 inches or more. Look at that. So throughout New York, central New York, even towards southeastern New York, not New York City, because you're going to get into some mixture there a little bit, but still I think 2 to 4 inches of snow in New York City is not a bad bet. But we will have impactful weather throughout New England here during the day, Saturday into Sunday, as this low pressure system dumps a lot of moisture in the area, and there will be plenty of cold air in place. So the likelihood of 4 inches of snow or more here is in the red, and they typically don't issue winter storm warnings up in Maine for 4 inches of snow. Usually need to get maybe 5 to 10 inches of snow, and then you'll see winter storm warnings. So that is a likelihood there. But see, the probability is high in southeastern Maine. That's why that one county here, down here, has a winter storm watch in effect. That may extend a little bit further to the north as we take a look at that. So I'm going to call it here with this briefing. I'm going to show a little bit more about the drought in my next update, because a lot of the nation is under drought, particularly in California, and that is really quite impactful as everybody knows. Now, the last thing I do want to show you is the West Coast. It looks like right now, as far as an atmospheric river, we don't have atmospheric rivers coming into California right now. A little bit of moisture coming in, but there's not much precip there. And you can see this next storm. Look at this. Here are the Aleutian Islands from Alaska. This is the Gulf of Alaska here, the Bering Sea here. And these storms are moving up into the Bering Sea. But again, we can see this lining up here for perhaps impacting. There may be this storm coming around the horizon here that may impact Southern California with an atmospheric river next Thursday. And we'll certainly keep you posted on that. So that's it for this update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Really appreciate all the comments that you give on this page, on this YouTube channel, so we can put more information forth. It's very valuable for not only the All Hazards Consortium, but also the public. You that are watching this, give us some feedback for things that you would like to see. We use all real-time data and official model data. This is the GOES West satellite from NOAA. It's an essential satellite. These satellites are our eyes in the skies, and that's what we use to communicate to you any potential impacts that are coming down the road. So be safe. Have a good Super Bowl weekend. If your team is not in the Super Bowl, there's always next year. And please, more importantly, watch out for yourself and watch out for your neighbors. They really do appreciate it, and we do need that care and love around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.